What's up everyone, welcome back to Taoist Magick. I hope you've enjoyed my previous video in the series on the Tao Te Ching. I just want to say I have a group on Facebook called Lord Josh Allen Taoist Magick. It's a place for practitioners to come along and discuss everything related to Taoism, from its history to complex spells to beginner's magic. There's people from all over the globe on there with lots of wisdom to share, and the community, although rather small at the moment, is very active, so please do consider joining. In this video, I want to talk about a very specific magical tool that is used in the practical application of Feng Shui. It is considered a Feng Shui remedy, the Bagua Mirror. Magic mirrors in Taoism represent consciousness, and the round shape of the mirror itself is a representation of the cosmos, what the Taoists refer to as the Wu Ji, the primordial universe. Mirrors in this tradition are closely related to water due to their reflective nature, and they correspond with the energies of the moon. The Bagua Mirror is of course based on the concept of the Bagua and the teachings of the I Ching, the Book of Changes. It's an octagonal framed mirror, usually made of wood, with a small round mirror located in the center. The colors are usually green, red, and gold, although this can vary. Red represents summer, illumination, and growth. Green represents spring, creativity, and vigor. And gold represents late summer, productivity, and success. Each section of the mirror will have the lines of the Bagua, known as the triagrams, which represent different aspects of creation and various stages of life. The unbroken lines represent Yang Qi, and the broken lines are Yin Qi. Now, just like the Bagua itself, there are pre-heaven mirrors which feature the pre-heaven sequence of triagrams known as the primordial Bagua, which represents balance and the concept of opposites. And then you have the post-heaven sequence of King Wen, which represents cycles and change. These two mirrors are used for two separate practices. The post-heaven is easily distinguishable with the Li triagram at the top, which corresponds to the southern direction, fire, and summer. The triagrams around the mirrors create an energy circuit, which amplifies and empowers the mirrors as a magical tool. These mirrors are not for decoration, I just want to stress that. They are tools used for magic. You shouldn't own one or use one if you don't need to, as it could cause fatal harm. The rounded convex Bagua mirror, which bows outward, is used to reflect negative qi, otherwise known as sha qi, back to its source. For example, if your house faces a hospital or a prison or a cemetery or motorways, construction sites, basically busy places where lots of people die or have accidents, and this creates what Feng Shui masters refer to as poison arrows. A poison arrow is a highly concentrated collection of negative qi that usually originates from sharp angled buildings and sharp corners. So if you live near a building that has a sharp edge or corner to it, this will create a poison arrow that will aim for your front door. It's not just man-made structures either. If there's a sharp angled tree, or there's a mountain peak which is overly angular, this will do it. T-intersections will also cause the problem, as well as power lines. You can always tell neighborhoods that have an abundance of sha qi. They are crime-ridden, neglected, they have lots of litter in the streets. Bad qi loves garbage, and in these areas the homeowners are depressed and hopeless. If there are lots of abandoned houses and abandoned buildings, this is indicative of sha qi. Poverty is a key sign here. Anyone, and I mean anyone, can sense sha qi. You don't need to be a Taoist or a Feng Shui expert to feel bad vibes. It's something that is known instinctively. Just because an area has fallen into negativity doesn't mean that it has to stay there, but it will take more than the use of a Bagua mirror to restore the neighborhood back to its healthy state, but it is possible. So if you've got a hospital facing you, all those dying people, all the sickness, that energy will need a place to vent. and it might shoot into your direction. If it enters your house, it will cause disharmony, which may manifest in sickness, loss of good health, bad relationships, being fired, and general overall bad luck. So by placing a convex Bagua mirror above your front door, it bounces the Sha Qi back to the hospital or prison or graveyard, so you can use it as a way of reversing bad energy. This is a very extreme way of dealing with it, and most Feng Shui masters will tell you that it's better to use a concave mirror rather than the convex, because the convex one will create a never-ending cycle of destructive Sha Qi. So these negative arrows will be bounced back to their origin and then return to you once again, and this cycle never ends. It's also important that you consider the well-being of other people. If you place a convex mirror directly facing a neighbor's house, you may end up reflecting a bunch of Sha Qi in their direction, and it will have negative consequences on them. And one of the golden rules of Taoism, if you hurt someone else, you will have to deal with the consequences of it. Some teachers will tell you that using the convex will only make the situation worse in the long run. So do be mindful of what you are doing. In my opinion, it is better to make use of the concave mirror, as this one absorbs the Sha Qi, doesn't reflect it. If you decide to use a concave mirror, again, place it above your front door, and instead of bouncing the Qi back and forth, it will draw in the energy and neutralize it upon absorption. It's a passive way of clearing bad energy, so it's considered more humane. If properly used, it won't do any damage to your neighbors. This is a much safer method. I've also heard of people using concave mirrors not only for harmful Qi, but good Qi. So if your house faces a beautiful field or a nice forest that is vibrant, you might want to attract some of these energies for yourself, and a concave mirror can do that for you. Masters of Feng Shui will often refer to Bagua mirrors as the antibiotic or the cure in keeping away sinister energy. They don't just work with Qi, but spirits as well. The belief is evil spirits and ghosts will become frightened of their own reflection in the mirror, and they will immediately flee the area, and they shouldn't return. Bagua mirrors can be used as gateways to capture and absorb Sha Qi. So now I'm going to discuss the most important aspect of these mirrors. Most Feng Shui masters will tell you to never use a Bagua mirror indoors. Using it inside the house, they say, is like swimming with sharks or playing with fire. Eventually, it will prove to be disastrous. Usually, before you buy a Bagua mirror online, you'll have a warning from the seller telling you to exercise caution. For example, on Feng Shui Best Buy, which is a very respectable seller of various Eastern talismans, Bless and I, my friend Bless, we love this shop. They give this warning here for a concave mirror on the website. It says, beware, Baguas can only be placed outdoors. Baguas placed indoors can be deadly and harmful to us. So my advice would be to heed the warning, but I have heard of people saying that you can use a Bagua mirror indoors if you do it with care. The problem is, with Feng Shui, one book will tell you one thing, and another book will tell you something entirely different. I know practitioners who use flat Bagua mirrors, which are basically neutral. So the question is, what should you do? I greatly encourage experimentation with magic. I always say it is paramount that you find your own way, and you shouldn't do what everyone else does just because of tradition. If you follow what all of the books tell you, you'll likely never discover anything new. And for me, mysticism is all about self-discovery, finding things that others have not. With that being said, obviously you want to be safe whilst practicing. Personally, my experience with these mirrors isn't very extensive. I have 2 concave mirrors, one above my front door and one above the door to my altar of the 7 stars, which, as you know, it's outside. I've had 2 mirrors for about 7 or 8 years, and I often forget that they are there. So for me, they aren't really a major aspect of many of my workings. They don't play a role in weather magic. But if you want to keep your outdoor altar clean of Sha Qi, I believe they really do work. So thank you for watching this video. Take care, and I'll be back soon.